officially live and live. The last thing to do is record. Welcome to this week's Cosmic Conversation. I am Stacey Harder with my mom, Dr. Heather Harder, and this is our weekly get-together. Today is our New Year's Eve, so woohoo! Happy New Year's! And this is the theme of kissing 2020 goodbye. It is a pleasure to be with you today, and as always, my intention is that this is an opportunity for you to come together, ask questions, and to be able to live your life with more love and a tribe and a compassion and appreciation and self-love. So here is my mother, Dr. Heather Ann Harder, professor, author, all of it. Heather.
Well, thank you, dear. And because we meet every Thursday and New Year's Eve just happened to fall on a Thursday, here we are together. May not happen this way next year, but you can count on every Thursday we're here no matter what. So if you need a pickup, if you need a refresher, if you need a pat in the back, if you need a shoulder to cry on, we're here. Although we're not real good at crying on your shoulder, because we kind of help you look at how to use that for empowerment. But nonetheless, we're here to support you on your journey through life. And this year especially is going to be exceedingly important for standing in your truth. With that said, for the new people here and for the people online, we have our what I call my peanut gallery that's out there online through, was it Facebook and YouTube? And what is it, Stacey? Where are we being broadcast?
Facebook stopped allowing me, so it is on Instagram, hello, and YouTube.
Okay, so if you're out there in those lands and are joining us, feel free to write comments. Stacey interprets those for us so you can still join the conversation. Although I don't choose to do a spirit sprinkle unless you're on the Zoom call, because then I can pick up your energy much easier.
Zoom.
I said that, Zoom call.
My internet's going out, so you.
Okay. All right. So with that said, Stacey will jump in if you have comments out there, and then we'll proceed. First thing we always do is call on protection, guidance, and truth. Whatever you ask for, so shall you receive. And that's a really important habit to get into. We are being bombarded with so much information that some is truth, some isn't, some is intentional misinformation designed to distract us and get us into fear and other things that do not serve us. So by asking for truth, by asking for divine protection and asking for guidance, you get it. It's that easy. No mystical powers required, no special procedure. I have written some affirmations that I use. If you'd like a copy, just email me and I'll be happy to send you a copy, although they're not required. All you have to do is speak the words, set the intention, and you have it. This year especially is going to be very important that you remember that you are more powerful than you can imagine, that you have more technology in your physical structure than the world currently possesses. But unfortunately, most of us lost the instruction booklets. We're having to learn how to use it, learn how to turn it on, learn how to manipulate the handles so that we can be all that we came to be. It's time to learn how magnificent we are. With that done, then the second order of things is we play with the light. As light workers, we've come here to help empower the light, help spread the light, help increase the light on the planet. As I am told, in this planet, everything is made by the same divine source, the same source of light. Light, love, God all carry the same vibration, but some let their light shine and some dim their lights. My spirit friends call those the lesser lights. No judgment, just a statement of fact. They don't shine their light as brightly. So the more often we light workers shine our light, we illuminate the dark corners of this earth. We help bring truth to this planet. And so we intentionally start this gathering with a little light experience. So with that, again, no magic required. All you have to do is just use your imagination, follow along. If you choose to do something else, that's fine. Sometimes your inner guidance will take you in a different direction to do something else, and that's okay. Just follow your heart. So with that, imagine yourself as that light, as that beacon of vibratory purity. Light, love, God all carry the same vibration, and it is your true essence. As a light being, you take on this physical structure in order to experience life on this planet, but it is not who you are. And so I want you just to feel how you feel as that light. And notice there's no deep breathing, there's no hypnosis, there's no special countdown. It's just setting the intention. And then, if you will, take that light and combine it with all those who are of like mind, all those on this planet who are here to serve this planet and its people in whatever way, in whatever form, and then become one big, bolder, deeper light and go to your center. The center is your imaginary place where you're most aligned with your spiritual essence and those in the divine realm, as well as the physical elements of this planet. You're most connected to physicality and your spiritual nature. And I like to sort of see a tube of light that I step into. And our job is to anchor that heavenly light to this earth. We are here to bring heaven to earth in a vibratory way. So just be in that flow and feel how it feels. You'll feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more serene, a little bit less troubled. Because when we step into the light, we know that all is perfect. We are truly in divine flow. And that anything that would make us believe that we're not in divine flow is simply melted away as an untruth. And then just taking a deep breath and seeing that light grow and grow, and then we send it into this planet, filling every cell in, on, and around her with love and with light. Filling every crevice, every void. In, on, and around this planet, we are just filling with this vibratory perfection. The atmosphere is to the earth as our skin is to our body. It's a very important protective cover. So imagine sending that light and love out into the atmosphere, surrounding this planet with your love, with this light, with your appreciation. We have chosen to become a part of this earth journey at this time, and it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be a joyful experience in free will. Unfortunately, on this planet, there are some beings who've chosen to interrupt the flow of free will, have interrupted the normal order of our atmosphere and our earth for their own purposes, for their own agenda. Regardless of what you call them, I want you just to send them love now. Remember, everything is of the divine. Everything is part of the divine plan. And we're just going to love them. They're playing their game. So just love them. Those who would choose to lie or cheat or steal or disrupt others and their free will, we simply love them. And then we send love and light to the weather patterns on this planet. The weather patterns are a very important part of Earth's balancing. It's how the Earth finds her stability. So love the weather patterns. Love the hurricanes and the volcanoes and the earthquakes and the fires and the winds and all the things that we sometimes are repelled by. We simply want to love them. They're all doing their job. And then everywhere on this planet where there is pollution, where there is hate, where there is violence, where there is conflict, just send lots and lots of love. The spiritual journey of becoming one on this planet will not be won by hate or violence or opposition. It'll be overcome with love. Love is a great neutralizing force, and we send it unconditionally, not for an outcome, but just because it's the right thing to do. We simply love those who are still playing in the third dimensional games. And on this planet, there is a mass consciousness. Everyone who lives on this planet or has ever lived on this planet has contributed to this mass consciousness. Just imagine what it looks like in your mind's eye and then fill it with love. Because you've chosen to take on a body and live during this time, you have the right to determine the direction of this planet. So just love it. And to shift the entire mass consciousness doesn't take 100%. It takes a very small percentage of those who hold the light, who hold the energy, who are willing to walk a challenging path with love and acceptance. It's your choice to be one of them. And on this planet, we have lots and lots of people who are in leadership, who are guiding local and state and federal government. Regardless of their party, love them. Those who are honest and integral and who are working for the benefit of others, the greater good, love them. Those who are sort of the Grinches of the political world, who are out for their own agendas, their own wealth, and their own purposes, love them as well. They needed the love more than the others. Just love them. And on this planet, during this time, we have a presidential election in this country that's still undetermined. Love it. Love every vote that was cast, every person that voted, every honest vote, just filled with love, and every interrupted vote, every vote that was manipulated for someone else's agenda. Love that too. Let truth be the transparency of what was an honest vote and what was a dishonest vote. And then send that love to all the judges, all the leaders, all those people who are going to determine the will of the people. So that truth and divine will be done. Whatever that was. And then send love and light to all the medical personnel. And imagine every little virus that we call COVID in every form, just fill it with love. It's been our great teacher this year. It's been the great disruptor this year. And just love them. They've given you opportunities to look through new eyes, see new things, and love it. And love those who've used the COVID for greater good and for individual good. Those who've used it for greed and personal gain, and those who've used it for altruistic divine plan. Love them all. Love them all. As we look back over 2020, there's been lots and lots of ups and lots of downs. The roller coaster of this year has been very evident. Just send love through it. Time is not a linear, straight path from past, present, and future. It's a convoluted, looping process, so we can change the energy of 2020 now and have the consequence of 2020 be altered. So just take a minute to share your gratitude for what 2020 has taught you. Share your gratitude for what you've experienced. And then as you look back over 2020, imagine seeing yourself in your best of the moments and in your most vulnerable moments. See yourself in the various aspects of your past year and send love to yourself. You have shown great bravery at coming to this planet during this time, and your journey has just started. If you handled it well and stayed in your love energy, congratulate yourself. And if you stepped out of it and moved into fear or judgment or sarcasm or pain, love those moments too. They're your teacher. But mostly love yourself for having the courage to be. And then we send love and light to all those who assist this planet, both on this planet and around this planet. We assist those who are living in the physicality as well as those who are living from other dimensions, but who are all here to serve this planet. We thank them for their service. We thank them for assisting us. And again, we commit to being open to hear the truth, assimilate the truth, and use the truth in the way that best serves divine plan. Now imagine this wonderful New Year's Eve cocktail, pretty glass, big glass. And we're going to have a cosmic cocktail to toast in the new year. And you decide what the ingredients are. As I name things, if you want to, just see your glass being filled with this cosmic concoction. If you want something else, name that too, but you can have anything and everything you desire. In my cocktail, I'm putting a healthy dose of love, a vibratory elixir that changes everything. I'm adding some courage. This year is going to ask us to be as vulnerable and as open as we can be. So courage is always a lovely ingredient for that, and trust. Do you trust your divine connections and your divine knowings? More trust is always a positive ingredient. Joy. We're meant to be having fun. You have to learn how to have fun in this journey. Anything else you want: wisdom, health, prosperity, abundance, meaningful relationships, joyful, purposeful activity. the ability to follow your internal guidance, to do what you came to do. Once this glass is full, just imagine it bubbling and fizzing and putting forth this incredible energy, and then just take it up and toast 2020 goodbye. And drink it down and feel this magic elixir affecting every cell of your body, filling you with all of these wonderful ingredients. Letting go of any trauma, any pain, any heartache, any challenges that you carried this year. This elixir just neutralizes it. Any behaviors, any attitudes, any thoughts, anything that doesn't serve you, just be willing to let it go. Just let it go and drink down this incredible drink. And it's a magic drink. It's always there. It never empties. So as long as you choose, start every day with a big sip of it. Start every day intentionally filling yourself with everything you desire. And then again, we send this love and light to all those who need or want our love, our support. We give permission to the angels to continue to use our love and light in any way that serves this planet and its people. And we're going to decree that anything and everything that interferes with justice, interferes with truth, interferes with the free will of the people of this planet, that in any way attempts to manipulate and control humanity, is instantly given swift retribution, so that they will know that is no longer allowed on the planet. Let justice prevail. And of course, the last thing we want to do is just open up our consciousness to receive the love and light. Because anything you send out must come back to you. It's universal law. So just open your heart to receive the love that you sent. Just feel it come back and flow to you and through you, knowing the more love you send, the more you get back. The more love you send, the more you get back. The more you get back, the more in balance your body, your mind, and your spirit becomes. And trust that all is in divine order. And when you're ready, just come back to the here and now. And all is in divine order. Okay. A nice little exercise to begin with. Anybody have any questions or thoughts or anything they want to share before we start talking about some other things? Stacy, your mouth is moving, but you're muted.
Yes, I just want to say thank you. I always love how much that just brings me home. And the chills, like when you get it back, is just like, so beautiful. So thank you. We do have a question from Michael, our friend in Australia. And the question
Hi,
is,
Michael.
for after this meditation, if loved ones are still in 3D, will they ever transcend to other dimensions?
And I say this with love, Michael, it's not your business. This is about free will. So if they choose to stay in 3D, that's their business. If they choose to go into 4 or 5D, that's their business. You concentrate on your path, being the biggest beacon of love energy that you can handle. And then through your contamination, through your contact with them, they may choose another path or they may not. It's not your business. We watch everybody else's path very carefully, but that really isn't the way this planet will evolve. I've said before about Lawrence Kohlberg, and it's someone I admire, but he did the research on moral development, and he found there were 6 levels of moral development. And level 1 was the lowest level, and that was you do things because you're rewarded, you don't do things because you're punished. The highest level, level 6, was you do things that are right, even if you're punished, and you don't do what's wrong, even if you're rewarded. So that was the 6 levels. You can go to Google and learn the other steps if you'd like. But what he found, which I think is the most powerful, is that level 1s could only learn from level 2s. If there was a level 3, they couldn't connect. They didn't get it. But level 2s could learn from level 3s, and level 4s could learn from level 5s, and so on. That if it was too big a gap, they couldn't get it. So what you have to do is just send love to your 3D friends and relatives. And if they choose to make fun of you, if they choose to ridicule you, if they choose not to believe what you believe, that's their free will. This planet is about free will. And if you choose not to honor their free will, then you're the one that's going to reap the consequences of that. Honor everyone's path, even if it's not your path, even if you don't like their path, it's still their path. It's still their free will. I've said many times, and I love these, that everybody's looking at the world through their own glasses. I choose to look at love, look through my love lenses at the world. So I see everybody with one perspective. Someone else may have on a pair of green glasses that is materialistic and money, and they're only seeing things from their perspective. And they're right, as I am right, but even though they're very different. So what I would suggest is not worry about your 3D friends. If you're in 4D or 5D, then what do you got to do to get 6D? Just be the biggest beacon of love that you can be. And that means unconditional acceptance of everyone else exactly where they are.
And then he put, I feel like I'm not sure if I can connect to anyone within my close external sphere anymore. And I want to add with that is that I think it's intentionally creating a space for us to connect to self. When you also mentioned you feel so disconnected today after my twin flame journey and Kundalini awakening, I think that in my experience, that's actually a very natural process because it's learning how to connect with self. If you're only doing it through other people, you're missing that internal connection. So it's a process, and it's not an instant, here it is and here it is forever. It's something that you intentionally work through or connect with.
Okay, now I'll share my version. In life, when you were first born, you were dependent on your parents. Your parents hopefully gave you the nurturing and the love and the confidence to start the next phase and the next phase and next phase. At somewhere along the line, you began to turn away from your parents and look at your peer groups for support, for acknowledgement, for insight. And at some point along the way, you grew beyond your peer group and you looked for that perfect person to spend the rest of your life with, and you turn to your spouse, your partner, your mate for that support. What we're doing on the planet is moving away from those physical relationships into our spiritual relationship. I don't see it as connecting with myself. I see it connecting to my divine lineage. In that visualization, we went to our center. In the center, you're most aligned, you're most connected to your angels, your guides, your helpers, your divinity. We have a whole bevy, and we sent one class just talking about those spiritual helpers that we have. We have a team of helpers. But if we never ask them for help, if we never ask them for support, if we never look to them for guidance, it doesn't do any good. We don't connect with it. So as you begin to unplug from the physical relationships to provide that guidance, that support, that help, you then will begin to become more aware and more connected to your spiritual connections. And that's really where you grow. So recognizing the division of paths can be very powerful and very positive. It's why I say over and over again, you have to trust whatever's happening in your life is divinely perfect for you for now. It may be different tomorrow, it may be different next week, but for this moment, it's divinely perfect. And we are all turning. Someone operating in 3D can't teach you how to live a 5D life. Someone living in 5D doesn't want to live a 3D life. And so you're in that transition. Trust it, follow it. Again, that inner guidance will take you where you need to go. Keep asking for truth, protection, and guidance, and then see where it takes you. And if someone else is still living in their 3D world and thinking that, living the fear-based, all those are kind of the things, love them and don't put them in your consciousness. If you think about them all the time, and you're judging them, judgment says, I have to live what they're living. So it's going to take you into that energetic threshold. It's also going to pollute your energy field with their vibration. So don't do it. Love them, let them go. Just like we're saying tonight, kiss 2020 goodbye. Love it, let it go, because we're moving into a different vibratory place. Does that make sense to him? Any other follow-up questions?
Yeah, well, no, mafioso, a practice, said you're shedding your old social circle. And as you transition to the next social group, you might feel lonely as you see those who used to be able to connect become disconnected. And I think that's a beautiful reminder for many of us. We have shed so much of our old programming, of our old self, of our old story, of our old traumas. That also includes people who no longer serve you in your circle. And so I think it is the opportunity and the time to step into your greatness. And the people who are negative, who are not supportive, those aren't the people to step into greatness with. And so the universe is just making it easy for you to be able to step into your everything. And he said it does make sense. One question. I think we should go to see if anybody has there, but this is a different question. How come you manifest slowly compared to others, even though you transcend into the 3D, 4D? And this is from a new person, Moho Vito.
First of all, slowly is a judgment. It's divinely perfect. It's not slowly, it's not quickly. Everybody's in their own path and their own speed, and it's all perfect. If you're watching someone else's path and comparing your progress to theirs, get your eyes back on your own path. It's another one of those things. We have practiced waking up. We have practiced seeing how long it takes us to move into our power through many, many lifetimes. As an example, if I said all of us today have to be at work at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, some people would take and get up at 6 so they could do their yoga, they could have 3 cups of coffee, they could take the shower and get ready in order to be at work at 9 o'clock. Other people would get up at 8:45, do a quick toothbrushing and brush their hair and be at work at 9 o'clock. We all have a different time set. We all have a different speed. We all have a different purpose. We all have a different job. And so some people will awaken very quickly because that's their tempo. Others will do it much more slowly and methodically because that's their tempo. I've been doing this for 30 years. I would say that's kind of slow, although I'm not a slow person by nature. In fact, I was taken out of commission for 5 years because they said that I was getting too far ahead of everybody that didn't serve me. So literally, I was given a hiatus for 5 years, which drove me crazy because I tend to be, if we're going to do it, let's get it done. Let's just move forward. Each one of you are on a different path for a different purpose, and you're divinely perfect on that path. So don't judge it. Just allow it to be that divine perfect. And if you find yourself comparing to your neighbor or looking at your aunt or how fast you are versus someone else or where they are versus where you are, then literally slap yourself in the face really hard and get your eyes back on your own path.
That's funny.
Okay. You know, that was I thinking. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Or
Jennifer, you want to say something? You're muted. You got to unmute.
No, I don't have anything right now.
okay.
I'm absorbing.
Okay. Anybody else, Stacy, online? Otherwise, I'll go to my next thing.
That does make sense. It does make sense. Rome was not built in a day. That's good.
Okay. So then we'll move on. And what I see is the most important lesson for 2021 as we leave 2020 in the dust is authenticity. And we haven't spent a lot of time talking about authenticity, but it's exceedingly important. Wherever you are now, you've had a lot of people who projected expectations on you and to you, whether it's your parents and wanting to see you be X, Y, and Z, or your employer wanting you to do A, B, and C. There's a lot of people who are projecting their expectations on you. And thus, many people have taken on those expectations and become whatever they think the world wants. And in that, and not just this lifetime, but many, many lifetimes, this next year, in order to maintain your sanity, you're going to need to be authentic to yourself. You're not who your parents wanted you to be. You are not going to be what your boss tells you to be. You're not going to be what you have interpreted the Bible to tell you to be. This is about who you are, letting go of all the expectations from yourself and all others so you can truly know who you are. What do you like? What do you feel? What's authentic in the moment? If you're hurt, be in that hurt. Don't put on a politically correct face and pretend that you're not hurt. If you're angry, anger always covers pain and suffering, pain and sadness. Be in that anger. It doesn't mean you have to punch a hole in the wall or beat somebody up, but really feel the feelings. This is a year for authenticity, letting yourself be who you really are. The more in touch with who you really are, the more this world will begin to allow you to reach your greatness. You have to get real in order to get to your maximum potential. Who are the real you? What is the real you like? There was a show on TV that only lasted two seasons, and I really liked it. It was called, I can't think of what it was called. Samantha Applegate, Christine Applegate played, yeah, was it?
Samantha Who.
Okay, Samantha Who was on. And she was knocked unconscious and she was in a coma and she wakes up. And then every episode is her discovering who she is and what she likes and why she does certain things. And it was really a great model. I mean, in one episode, she goes into the ice cream store and she tastes all the ice cream just because she doesn't know what her favorite ice cream is. And so I would invite you to, for 2020, to approach life with that attitude. What do I like? What do I feel? Why am I this way? But really get in touch with that authentic you. the one that may not be politically correct, one that definitely isn't perfect. Your divine perfection is your human imperfection. It is your natural state. We don't have to be perfect. We have to be authentic. And being willing to accept yourself with imperfections is the only way that we're going to learn how to accept others with their imperfections. But if you insist that you have to be perfect, then you're going to insist that everyone else has to be perfect, and it can't be. It can't be. We're here to have a messy, real experience. And that means making mistakes intentionally just to see what happens when we make a mistake. It means playing in the mud and getting dirty. It means being less than our perfect self, but it's being authentic in that moment. One of the exercises that I was given as I was moving through this journey, and I offer it with love and I invite you to play with it, is every morning when you get up and you're getting dressed and you're doing your hygiene habits and stuff to get ready, just imagine that you're an onion and you peel off a layer that isn't you. That isn't you. The facades we put on, the covers, the protections, and just take a layer off. And then as you do that, you get more and more authentic. It doesn't mean you get more politically correct. You may become a bit more outspoken. You may become a bit more in your face. People who know me know that I'm quite outspoken and I make no apologies. I've lost a lot of friends for speaking my truth, but it's the cost of doing business. If you're my friend, you're going to hear the truth, like it or not. And that's what we all have to get, because unless we're willing to speak the truth and bear the consequences of that, we're never going to get there as a planet. Fifth dimension is about unifying with all others in a spirit of love and acceptance. It isn't about being politically correct. The more eggshells you have to walk on, the more politically correct things you have to subject yourself to, the more far away from authenticity you become. In fact, you can tell the dysfunction of a family by the number of secrets they have. It's about being totally vulnerable, totally open to everything. And only in our vulnerability are we going to attain our invincibility. If no one can hurt you because you put it all out there, no one can do anything to you. You're invincible. And that's really where we have to move as a species. And 2021 will challenge you in lots and lots of ways. And the more authentically you can show up to every experience, the better off you're going to be. And I give you an example because I still find it funny. I was the guest of honor at a small dinner party. And one of the people at the dinner party was a very powerful man who had learned that whenever he spoke, the world stopped and they were supposed to all listen without interruption. And it didn't matter what conversation was going on, he would override it and talk nonstop. You know the type. We all know the type who just talks and thinks they're the best conversationalists, although it's a monologue. It's not a conversation. So I'm always being downloaded what I'm supposed to say, what I'm supposed to do, and I don't filter it. I just honor it and say it. And I looked at him and I said, "You're a verbal masturbator." And he looked at me and I said, "You just talk to make yourself feel good and you don't care how the others receive it." Well, everybody in this group sort of took an in-breath in the same moment. It was the truth, and he needed to hear it because he didn't realize how he was disempowering himself with this behavior, and everybody else kowtowed to this behavior as if this was the way it was supposed to be. So when I was very honest in my reaction, I lost all these friends. I mean, they really never spoke to me again. However, I delivered the message he needed to receive because I was being asked to deliver that message. And that when you can do that, then you're really going to be service to the divine. You have to be authentic. You have to be honest. You have to be straightforward. You have to be in truth. Stacy, you're grinning. Why are you grinning?
Oh, because there was a message just saying this is very insightful and beautiful way to end 2020. And that just excites me because I know how much this impacts my life, and it's just beautiful to be able to share that. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you. And it's more fun for me when there's interaction. So if you have comments or things you want to share or examples you want to give, please do so. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. As a university
what you're saying
professor. What?
No, I was just saying that that's such an important lesson, because there's times where you just know it. You're being dropped in and saying something or verbalize something. And there's a time where it's like, oh, it feels uncomfortable, but yet you know it's what you're supposed to do. And I find that can happen at any moment. And to me, I don't want to say it's a little test, but it also, the more you can open up and do that, I feel like it allows you to have those floodgates to really have that divine like working through you in more than just those ways. So I just think that that's such an important lesson. It's not always easy, but a lot of times when I've done that too, especially if it's a stranger. Like, this might strange or sound weird, but I'm getting guided to say something. Are you willing to hear what I have to say? And then I'll say something and they'll just start crying, or, I really needed that. So, when I posted the other day crying, it's like, I feel like I'm not alone. This is some of the ways I'm processing. And when you have people reaching out and saying, I really needed that. I did it, it's just like, thank you. Because I was told to go do this and you don't really know why. And then it's like, oh, okay, that's why. And it really, sometimes you get results right away, but it's following that intuition, and that guidance is, to me, the gift of.
And if I'm in a situation where I'm not sure, is this the lower me or the higher me that's wanting to have this exchange, then I ask for a sign. Give me a sign. And I get it. Again, ask for what you want. You have everything at your disposal. And so you can double check. But if you know it's coming and you know you need to speak it up, you need to speak up. Because if you don't deliver the messages as they come, then someone else will become the messenger. You can't be a messenger if you change and alter the messages or don't deliver them unless they're easy to deliver. I can't tell you the number of times I've been asked to tell someone something and think, oh shit, do I have to? Is there no other way? And yet, I have my human struggle, and then I go and do it. So it's the journey. And as things speed up and intensify, you're going to get more and more of that.
And again, remember, you have a team, like we've talked about. Ask questions. Like you were just saying, I think I'll ask for such a sign. Like, ask, make this clear for me. Make this, if you're thinking about decisions, like it's really important to put your intentions out there.
I have to say, personally, I've struggled with that. I have a hard time discerning things. I get a lot of information about people, and then I end up making a joke out of it, like inadvertently touching maybe a testy subject. Like, for instance, I have a friend of mine that is she's very slim, and I made a joke that I could totally kidnap her because I'm a lot heavier than her. I just go dead weight and they'd have a hard time carrying me out of the place. So I didn't realize, though, that that's been something that she's always worked on, but I have that happen all the time, where I'm constantly like able to hone in on something, but I make it into a joke, making it awkward, but I'm also giving a message at the same time. It's not always that. I had to apologize for that one, but I do get that information in weird streams. And I have tried to ask my higher self to make it clearer that I'm getting something that needs to be addressed versus just making a joke. If that.
Well, you're here to get my opinions. I'm going to give you my opinion of that, although free will and your inner wisdom will guide you well. When I get information for a person, for instance, for Jennifer, before I would tell her what I'm getting, I would say, Jennifer, I'm feeling this message, or I'm hearing this. Would you like to hear it? Because it's her life. It's not my job to inflict my opinion on her. So unless she's agreed to get the information, I don't share it. And I've had people say, no, I don't want it. It's okay, no problem. On the other hand, since Jennifer has come to my class, Jennifer's now said she's wanting to learn from me. So now I have permission to share with Jennifer what she wants to hear. Although I still, when I give sprinkles, I ask people if they want one. But if they come to my class, if they read my books, then I have full permission to tell them whatever I want to tell them. But if it's meeting on the sidewalk and they haven't indicated they want my information, then they're in charge of their lives, and I would only offer like an hors d'oeuvre versus force them like an IV. And so that's my model for sharing information. I was keynoting a conference, a special ed conference, not Weird and Wonderful, not spiritual. Barbara Bush was another keynoter at this international special ed conference. I felt really big and important. I had reached, from academic standpoints, I was in a lovely position. When I spoke, it was like my words were scrambled. I made no sense whatsoever. It's like, holy shit, nothing was coming out in any kind of way. I see all these people from all over the world going, I'm thinking, oh God, let the earth open up and swallow me down. I get off the stage and I go to this guy and I said, just hug me. I need a hug. And he's sort of looking at me like I'm crazy, but he hugged me, and it was an absolutely electrifying energy. It's like, oh shoot. So then I go back to my room and I'm given this 2 pages of information about this man. And they had intentionally scrambled my presentation so I would force him to hug me and I could experience it. And then my message was about how his touch heals people from the soul out. But because it was so powerful, he had stopped touching anybody because he was sexualizing it and he was afraid it was inappropriate. So he stopped touching anybody. And this 2-page message from this principal in Australia was about how important it was for him to touch his students and touch his teachers, because it was such a powerful energetic healing. And again, not an environment at all for spiritual messages, but I knew that I had to deliver this message. So I said, I've got this message about you. Would you like it? And he said, well, yeah. I said, okay. And I said, I'm going to sit here and you read it. And if you have questions, ask me about it. But, I give it to you with love. And that was all. Giving him the message was more important than my making sense from the stage. So we have to look at does our message comply with their free will, or does it override their free will? Anytime you're overriding their free will, that's when you need to back off. And Stacy's a good one she was notorious, try this. She'd love to have you try her food. Taste this. Just taste it. Just taste it. Just taste it. And she wouldn't stop until you taste it. That's overriding free will. Offering it, would you like a taste? That's honoring free will. And if they say no, you accept the no. And so we all have to look at, when are we honoring that free will and when are we overstepping our boundaries and interfering with free will? Taste it. Just taste it.
That was a child.
No.
Yes. Well, for example, I made my sister try my Frappuccino. Yes. And I knew she would love it, and she did, and now she's addicted to them. But if I know you, this is why I'm good in sales, because it's like, I know it's good for you. Like, it's not an option. Just do it. But
when I was there in March of 2020, you were still playing that game. So yes, you're better, but you're not done with it yet. Anyway. Yes, you are perfect.
Divine. Human.
Anybody else have a question or comment? All right. Then we're going to go do another exercise. We're going to do a little field trip into the future. So Take a deep breath. Set your intention to move to center. And I pretty much start everything at center. Center is a place of intention. I like mine to look like a beach, but it doesn't have to look like anything. It's wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you feel safe. But starting in center is your place of power. It's your place of alignment. So we're going to be in center and take a breath. And again, only that which is for the highest best good is going to happen. And then what we're going to do is look around until we see this perfect elevator. This is an elevator that's magic. Not only does it go up and down, it goes sideways, it goes through time, through space. It's perfect. As we get on this elevator, we're going to push the button so that it goes 2, 3, 4 years into the future. You couldn't handle seeing yourself in your totality of perfection. So we're only going to go just a little bit into the future so that you can see yourself as you could be should you choose to make the decisions that are empowering to you, should you choose to follow your guidance in order to reach your maximum potential. So just push the button and feel the elevator begin to move through time and space. Through time and space. And when you're ready, just push the button and feel the elevator open. And as you step out of the elevator, you're stepping out into a room of mirrors. You see yourself in every direction, not as you are, but as you could be, should you choose to live your greatest life. Should you choose to follow your inner guidance, should you choose to be all that you can be. Look at what you're wearing, look at your hair, look at your posture. This is a part of you. You know what she or he knows. How is that potential you different than the you that you are now? Is it more trusting? Is it more courageous? Is it softer? Is it harder? Just recognize the you that you are now versus the you of your potentiality. And then I would like you to ask this more evolved you, what you can do in order to live this greater life. What do you need to let go of? What do you need to accept? The spiritual path is very easy. But it requires great trust. What does this evolved you want you to know? Ask him or her, what's holding you back? What's keeping you from being all that you can be? And on this eve of 1 year to the next, set the intention to let go of everything that keeps you from being your greatest self. See what you need to see in order to live your greatest life. In order to be your most authentic self. If there's anything you want to ask, or anything you want to share, please ask yourself. That part of you that knows, that part of you that already exists. And then what I would like you to do is just embrace this part of you. In whatever way feels right for you, just feel this energy of this potential you merge with your current you. Feel the energy become one. You are more than you can imagine. And when you're ready, just come back to the here and now. And if you have paper and pencil, write down as many memories as you can bring to your mind. Again, what you looked like, what you thought, what you were doing, whatever you can remember. You are more than you can imagine. You are capable of more than you can imagine. Trusting your greatness is exceedingly important. Nothing on this planet is more powerful than you are. The problem is we sometimes forget that and move into fear and these other energies that strip us of our power. Anybody want to share? Christy, you want to share? Okay, you don't have to share. Anybody sharing online?
I love Mafioso's comment. OMG, why am I wearing a beige suit? Made me laugh too. I'll share. Obviously I've done this many times with you, but I kind of feel like each time it gets a little yummier and more like easier to see that person as yourself. Like it's a lot easier. It's like feeling more comfortable with your higher potential self, that it's like, oh, this is, at first it was like, who is this woman? You know, and now it's like, yes, this is me. And it's like, it's a little bit more, it's a 1,000 times more tangible than it was in past years.
Well, it becomes more authentic. It becomes more of the real you, and you begin to live that real you as well.
And then our friend Michael from Australia said it's like coming home to yourself more and more. And that's,
Very well said.
When I was talking about earlier about connection to self, I do believe that divine connection happens through self. So I find that to be both, but until you can go into that center, that's where the divine is. And so for me, when I say connect to self, that is to me connecting to the divine.
Okay. Jennifer, anything you want to share?
Sure. I was thinking of trust, and then you said trust, because that's what I have to do with the process of speaking my truth. And it's breaking out of kind of what I was raised, like, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, and you couldn't answer back, and like those programs, practicing to break out of them. And ask, and I like that you said to ask if you don't know if it's your truth or not, or yeah.
Well, the vision I have for those kinds of belief systems, those kinds of limitations that we were programmed with, is like the chicken inside the egg. You know, the embryonic growth happens inside that shell. If you open the shell too soon, the creature dies. It can't survive outside the shell. But as it grows and matures, it has to break out of that shell. But the interesting thing is if a farmer tries to help the chick emerge when it starts pecking the shell and pull the shell away, the chick doesn't have the strength to live. It will also die. The chick has to break away those shells and find its own freedom. And that's really what you're doing when you're breaking away from the programming that the world, your parents, whoever gave you during those formative years. You have to say that no longer fits me. It's confining me. It's holding me back. So I have to let them go. And as you let it go, then you emerge a stronger, more empowered being. So I like that egg, thing.
Yeah. I'm cracking the shell.
You're cracking the shell. You're finding your freedom outside that confinement that was often given to you with love. They wanted you to be socially acceptable. They wanted you to be liked. They wanted you to be, all the things that they thought was valuable. And I can tell you, my parents were not thrilled with my spiritual honesty and persona, but it wasn't their life. I had to live it my way. Yeah. And they're dead now, so oh well. I get to still live it my way.
Free. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And there's a quote that says, "It's very much like the energy of Elsa riding on the ocean of a horse made of water on her way to Avalon," which is actually the journey to herself.
I don't know that analogy, but it sounds like a Disney
from
movie.
Frozen.
Yeah, but I didn't see
from
Frozen.
Frozen. Yeah.
It sounds like a Disney movie image kind of thing. So, but what?
It is. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? We done? All right, then we just have a few people online for a sprinkle. So if you'd like a sprinkle, just what I would like you to do is just ask. And Christy, since you've never played with it yet, I tap into the energy, and your energy has the collection of everything you've ever thought and done since the time you left spirit. So what I do is just sort of connect into that energy, and since there's lots of information there, if you ask a question, then I can tap into that and share with you whatever feels appropriate to share. And so, and if you don't want a spirit sprinkle, you don't have to have one. I just offer it to everyone except Stacy. Any takers? Jennifer, Christy, do either one of you want to sprinkle on this eve of 2020? Okay, so Jennifer's going to go, and that will give Christy a chance to sort of see what it's like. So unmute yourself.
And real quick before you do that, I also think it's just a beautiful opportunity. If you look, 2020 is perfect vision. It's being able to see clearly. And I think that's been a really big gift as far as to be able to see truth. And if you haven't seen it, just ask, I want to see truth. And I think that it's a really important journey as we bring that into 2021. And I just think that that's...
Well, I think 2020 gave us the ability to assess where people are. When everybody's being politically correct, it was hard to see where people really are. This year has caused people, like someone mentioned about their friends and neighbors who are, in a different vibratory plane than they are. The gift is seeing that, not about judging it or condemning it. It's just about recognizing it. When we're seeing a lot of people who've been out of integrity, we're seeing it, we're recognizing it. We've, pretended that everything was okay at the polls, but when you see people pulling out suitcases from under the table or having stacks of votes that were mail-in that weren't even folded, and so many things that were so blatantly out of integrity, people can't deny it anymore. And already we've changed the way voting will take place in the future, hopefully improving the things. We're still yet to see how this election will come out. The energy has not settled. So it is not yet determined how it's going to play out. So it really is important that all of you continue to call for justice for the polls, to call for swift consequences for those who manipulate the polls, manipulate free will. The more we call for truth and integrity in our elections, the more this election will be determined. But it is not determined yet.
And for those people who are interested, January 6th, there is a large gathering in DC for voter integrity. It's about standing up to saying your vote does count, and it's not.
And I would like to go, but I don't want to drive myself. So if there's anybody in Northwest Indiana, Chicago area that's going that wants another passenger, let me know. I'd like to go. Are you going, Jennifer?
No, I don't think I am so far. I haven't got the push to go.
Well, you add your energy for truth from any location. You don't have to be there, but I really want the numbers to be big. And if I don't want to drive myself because the winter is so crazy here in Chicago, and I don't want to risk driving and worrying about where we park the car and whatnot. But if there's somebody who's going, I want to go along. So with that, Jennifer, you want to just say your first name and then ask your question?
Yeah, it's Jennifer. And my question is, how should I prepare myself for this coming year?
What comes to mind instantly is get your nails done. This is going to be a powerful year for you to connect with relationships. Relationships are going to be the key. You may cycle through a few non-significant relationships, but you're going to have a lot of attractive energy this year. And I don't mean like pretty energy. I mean attraction. You're going to be pulling people into your circle because you're spiraling up. And it's sort of like a hurricane. When it spirals, it creates a wind vacuum that pulls barns and roofs and things into it. You're going to be attracting a lot this year. It's going to be a very different year for you. And so be ready, get your nails done, feel your best, your prettiest, because where you are mentally, it's going to determine the pull that you have. If you feel less than, you're going to pull in less than. If you feel like you're in your heyday, you're in your best space, you're going to pull that best space in. So it's really important that you stay in your best space and not try to mute yourself to be acceptable. That will pull in that same level of inauthenticity. You want to stay in your brazen best self. No muting, no turning down the volume. You're just who you are, but people are going to be attracted to that. Lots and lots and lots of change for you this year. And it's all going to be around the relationships. So wreck them. By the end of the year, you're going to have some very significant new relationships.
Great. Yeah, the only thing when I said 2021 to myself and I was driving, it just came in that the 2020 was the clearer vision, and the one I could see a lot of new opportunities, new relationships, new things.
Yeah. Well, with those relationships and those people are going to come opportunities, but it's the people that you'll be attracting. So keep putting yourself out there and be open to, new, lots of new. And it'll, yeah, again, look on YouTube, because I'm sure there's 1,000 videos of those hurricanes that are spinning barns and cows and all that kind of stuff. That's sort of the what you're going to create in your life this year. Lots and lots of stuff.
And just to let you know, a few of our friends from IG who've been on, like Mayfer and Little Miss Seek the Empress, are joining for their sprinkles. So just so you know, but they have.
See, that's the way we do it. You don't get a sprinkle unless you're online. I've tried doing it through the ethers, but it's not fun for me. It's too much work. And it's got to be fun for me too.
We'll see Trina sending everybody her love. And then also Holding the Light 2021 is going to be epic. And also tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern will be a very similar thing today, but it will be 2021 prediction. So for those of you that have been with it, Mom does it every year. I remember the year that she said Trump was going to win and he will go down as one of our greatest presidents in history. And that was the only time that I thought my mom was. Anyways, and now I'm like, oh, okay, well, he really did win. But long story short, it's kind of a fun call. And to me, it's also important. And then again, if you're on Zoom, she does the spirit sprinkles as well. So for me, it's a beautiful way to bring in the new year. So we will be doing this again, same Zoom.
It's setting intentions. It's preparing the way. Again, we're here to co-create our life on this planet. We're not just victims and helpless recipients of this life. We're making our life. And so by setting the intention, having the gathering at the first day of the year, and if you have other things to go to, fine, dandy, no problem. And we literally do the preparation for making it a fabulous year. Yay. And if any of you want to be nice, make me the 2 little pom-poms. I want 2 little pom-poms that I can do pom-poms.
I have a feather. Woo!
Not the same as a pom-pom.
I know, but it's kind of fun. So
it can be fun, but it's not pom-poms. I gotta have pom-poms. Sorry, pom-poms is the only thing. Pom-poms. I got little hearts and I got little stars and I got all kinds of little things, but I want pom-poms. All right. Thank you very much for that plug. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central Time. If you want to join us, this is the number that we will be at if you want to join us on Zoom. All right. Christy, you disappeared. You were the other one online when we made the offer. Do you want to sprinkle? She disappeared. And did she hide because she doesn't sprinkle?
I don't know who you're talking to, but I'd like a sprinkle.
Okay. Christy Austin is who I was talking to. And are you Christy Austin?
No, I'm Sue.
Okay, you're Sue. All right, then we'll go to you next, and then we'll go to everybody who's on the screen. If Christy wants one, she can join us in a minute. All right, Sue, in order to connect with your energy, I hear your name. Your name guides me into your energy field. So just, even though I know your name, it's written in front of me, I would like you to just say your name, and then I will connect with your name and then ask a question or whatever you'd like.
Okay, Sue Scaduto. And then I just, let's see, I want to hear some instructions for the new year for me.
All right, Sue, I don't know you, as you know, I don't know you. So my intention is always to offer whatever is going to serve you with love. One of the things that is very clear with me is that you've been very wounded. And because of that, you've created this big armor. You project this armor into the world and like scatter people in front of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the year that you have a big choice. You can continue with that armor, and it makes you, well, you can imagine the knights when they would put their armor on. It's pretty clanky and pretty bold and intimidating. You can continue that, or you can take your armor off and just begin to be real, authentic. The real you is much gentler, much softer, much more intuitive, but it's almost like you go through life for, pushing against the world, and therefore that's what you get back. So this year is going to be a big choice for you. Do you continue your push in which you get lots more resistance, or do you just say enough is enough and take your armor off and you're just going to be authentic, which makes you vulnerable, which is a very uncomfortable place for you. You're not good with vulnerability, which is why it's important for you to live in vulnerability. When you are vulnerable, you are invincible. And so this is a big year for you, and it doesn't have to be one decision for the year. Every day you get up, it's an ability to make a decision. Do I want to go through today being guarded and protecting from this known or unknown foe, or do I want to just trust that I am invincible? And so every morning you get to make that decision, and you will determine the kind of year you have because of that. Trust is going to be a big word for you this year, developing trust in yourself, your connection, your world, your life, those around you, your relationships, because you have a lot of distrust. And because you distrust, you attract those to you. And so therefore it's like you justify your own lack of trust because you draw these people in who are not trustworthy. So, comment, feedback?
It's interesting because I don't, I mean, I'm a New Yorker, but I haven't lived in New York for many years. And I feel like I am pretty vulnerable, although I'm still a tough cookie. So I think I vacillate between those two parts of me. So that's interesting. I mean, I thought I'd done more work on it.
It's not about doing work. It's about the opposite. It's about just accepting. And there's not about working to let it go. It's just letting it go. But I would suggest if you have some friends who are very honest and who you feel safe with, ask them their opinions and then allow them to guide you, because it's sometimes very difficult to see our own defenses because they've been so much a part of us for so long. So if there's someone in your world that you can ask, do you think I'm defensive? Do you see my defenses? And ask them. But that's my perception of your energy field. And, if it's not true for you, it's not true for you, but just let it sit with you and ask for guidance.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Christy said yes, she would like a sprinkle, but the connection was dropping as you were asking, so that's why it was funny.
Okay, Christy, you look like you're on a subway now. Are you in a subway?
I actually live in a fully converted Greyhound bus. So what you're seeing behind me here is just the insulated windows. So the rest of the house is here.
How fun!
And
did you do the conversion?
I was getting dinner started.
Yes, she did.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Wow.
It took about 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, very impressive.
I wanted to jump on the bandwagon and see what 2021 holds for me.
All right. And so what I would like you to do is, again, just say your name, even though I know your name. That connects me with your energy. Your name is the greatest projector of your energy field. And then second of all, in fact, back in the Egyptian days, it was such that after you named your child, you gave them a different name so that no one would know their real name. And Isis became famous because she was the knower of names. And when you know someone's name, you have power over their lives. And so your name is very significant. So with that said, would you just say your name and then whatever else you'd like to know?
Christy, and I would like to know what 2021 has in store for me.
Okay. Again, energy, we have no language for energy, so I just make stuff up that makes sense based on what I'm perceiving. But it's like 2020, if you've ever seen the big fire pit out in the field, and it's like you're on top of this fire pit, there's going to be lots of fires being lit under you. This is a year of action for you. You've thought and contemplated and processed in many years, but this is a year for action. Don't hesitate. There's fires being lit. There's opportunities that will be brought to you. And at times it's going to feel like you can't possibly do all that you're being asked to do, but you can. And so just do. Join us on Thursday for a cheer up if you need one, but recognize this is a year of action. So start your action plan, write out what you'd like to accomplish this year and just take action. And get an image of a fire that you can put some, like a decal on your window or something to remind you of the fires that have been lit. You're well prepared for this journey. You have all the skills that you need, and you have a plethora of spiritual support to guide you and assist you in this process. Make sure you ask for help, because they can't do anything unless you ask for help. They cannot violate free will. So when you ask, you're giving them permission to interact with your world. Very important. Keep on keeping on.
Awesome. Thank you. And
You.
I am good at asking for help. So that makes absolutely perfect sense.
Yeah, you have to ask. And literally, I have and asking for help was never easy for me. So it was a whole learning skills. But now it's like the first thing I do, I ask for help every morning. Ask for help. Ask for help, and you get so much help. It just makes life so much easier. But thank you. Who wants to go next? Stacy, are you keeping track, or are they just raising their hand? Because we're going to stay on until everybody gets a sprinkle that wants a sprinkle.
You can unmute yourself if you want. Michael from Australia. We have Christine from New York. Anna got on. So and Mayfer, you're in Spain?
No, she's at an island. I forget the island, but she's on an island.
So either of you, feel free to unmute yourself. And
I am from Venezuela.
what?
She's on what?
I am from Venezuela.
Venezuela. Oh, that's a place we need to send lots of love to. So we'll send lots of love to Venezuela through you. Yay!
Thanks.
Venezuela is teaching lots of lessons to the world. So love and light to you and yours. Okay.
Thanks.
With that, we'll clear the energy of Venezuela and we'll focus on Mayfa. And Mayfa, just say your name and what your question is.
Okay. My name is Maria Fernanda, and I would like to any guidance or advice for this new year.
Well, first of all, just since we met you to now, your energy has changed a lot. It's much more like gentle waves. You're developing confidence in yourself and your own decision-making process. And for those who haven't experienced before, I close my eyes to sort of get rid of the distraction so I can really focus on the energy. But as I play with your energy, Mayfer, it's really much smoother and more gentle. What's going to happen this year is it's going to become much more intense, not rougher, not bigger peaks, but it's going to become much more intense. Sort of the difference between a wave that might be in your bathtub versus a wave that might be in the ocean. It's just going to be bigger and bolder as you become bigger and bolder. I don't know what you do in your life, but whatever it is the volume's going to be turned up big time. You're going to be doing much more than you expected from years previous, and you're going to be doing with greater confidence. What do you do?
Well, right now I am unemployed.
Good. Well, that means that all the opportunities are there. Set tonight, so that tomorrow, when tomorrow comes in, it's already set. What do you want to do in your life? What's the contribution you want to make to the world? Get very clear on that contribution. And then with that, look for job hunting in that area. You have, in the past, you didn't have as much confidence in your skill set, in your ability to do. Now, as that wave gets bigger and bolder, you recognize you have a lot of gifts to give to the world. How do you want to contribute to the world? And that's the job you want to look for, and you'll get it. You need to have total confidence that not when you put out your desires, the universe will come back and meet them to give you your heart's desire. The universe will rearrange itself to give you exactly what you want. But if you don't know what you want, well, hell, they can't do it. So you've got to get real clear on that. So give yourself an hour or two just to sit and think about that. What do I see myself? What do I want to do? What brings my joy? What lets my heart sing? And you want to look for those things that let your heart sing. As I play with your energy, you're very creative. All the creation skills come from the soul level. And so I would suggest that you explore some of the things that allow you to be creative, allow you to be the orchestrator, not someone who's putting widgets in a box and there's no creativity, but to really look at that creativity, because that's what's going to make you feel most fulfilled, the creation aspect, because you're very creative. And even make a list of all the things that you enjoy doing, because there's a lot of things. You have a lot of opportunities, but you got to do the work tonight. But again, we'll play again tomorrow. If you're on the call, then we'll do another sprinkle for those on the call. But do your homework tonight so that you're sort of ready for that. And then when you go out to look for the job, know that whoever hires you is going to be very, very lucky. And have that gift to the universe kind of attitude that they're getting a plum.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Next. Okay, Michael. Now, not because I'm hard of hearing, but because your accent is hard for me to distinguish. Just put space between the words so I can have an easier time interpreting what you say. So.
Yeah. First, can I be heard? My mic's being picked up. Okay. Hi, I'm Michael, and I'd like to receive a sprinkle from you. Probably just regarding what I can do with the year ahead, or where I'm at, or whatever comes through. Really, I have faith in whatever I need to hear. I'll hear.
Okay. Well, Michael, one of the things that you have evolved into, first of all, you have a lot of information, a lot of skills, a lot of facts. This is the year for you to transmute that information into wisdom. A lot of people have information. They can read an encyclopedia and get information, but that doesn't mean they're going to have natural wisdom that goes with it. This is the year for you to integrate what you know into a wise course of actions. Does that make sense? And so you're going to have a lot of situations that some people might label challenging or hardships or whatever, but always there's going to be a wise solution for it. So this is going to be your year of using all that you've gathered in order to funnel it into wise action. And I would make that your mantra for this year. The humility, the wisdom is going to be coming through you, and that will make you much more of a model for others around you, because they're going to see your wisdom. Information often repels people. Like, oh, he thinks he's a smart ass because he knows the 13 stages of this or the 14 steps of that. So information can repel people. Wisdom pulls them in, and this is your year for wisdom, the integrating the information into wise action and wise advice for others as well.
Yeah.
So I would say that's your biggest lesson. Excuse me, my dog is jumping on my leg. I gotta pick her up. Come here.
Lulu.
Yes, and she's got a jingle bells. So if you hear it rattle, it's the jingle bells. If it is bothering you, Stacy, I'll take it off of her. I'll take it off of her anyway.
It's a meditation, I guess. Loud.
Stacy complained about my chair because I was on a movable chair, would make sounds that she said was offensive. So now I'm sitting in a stationary chair. I hope you hear the stationary chair.
It sounds,
Okay, no justification needed, but it's okay. Just
sounds like you're passing gas.
just I'm in my stationary chair now. Okay, did we get everybody? Is there anybody else? Oh, Christine.
We go to Egypt every year, for those of you new to us, and it's a spiritual journey that Mom is our she guides it. I'm the assistant on it, and she was part of our Egypt 2020. What an epic experience.
What a way to start this year, huh?
Yeah, this is a powerful year. We're supposed to have a trip in February, but we put it off till May because I want the world to settle down a bit before we go to Egypt again. Everything is still way too stirred up. So
I actually have a woman from my group that wants to attend, so just remember to send her
good. Well, tell her to send me her email address and I'll keep her posted, because I'm still contacting them, and they're saying it's clear for going, but the energy isn't settled, and I don't want to get to Egypt and find that in order to fly home I've got to get a vaccination, because they're still talking about that. So I want to get the COVID good and settled before I take off to Cairo. So with that said, Christine, if you'd like to say your name and then whatever you'd like to know.
Okay, my name is Christine Mendez, and I would like to know anything that comes up for my highest good for 2021.
Okay. It's actually harder to do someone who I know, and I know you in so many different levels, and so I never quite sure whether it's me or something else. If I don't know anything about you, it's easier. But I do know that you're going into business and you're starting a lot of new endeavors, which are going to continue. And you're going to have, just like you've had in the past, some opportunities to discern what serves you and what doesn't. A lot of people, when they're going to new adventures, is like, oh, let's just, this is wonderful. Or that one person says they're spiritual, so let's do that. You're going to get a lot more of those tests out. So you need to always sort of be in that pause space of taking a breath and really tuning in and discerning at the deepest level. Does this serve me? Does it not serve me? And not just take it at face value. For many people, and I'm not saying this is you, but for many people, they want to be rescued by the knight in shining armor. So when anybody comes along dressed in white, they go, oh, this is my knight, and I want to run away with them. And it ended up, maybe it's a member of the Ku Klux Klan and not a knight in shining armor. Because you want it so bad, you project your images on it. You're looking for things that you think you need in order to be successful, and so you're drawing in tests. Don't fall for anyone who professes to fill your need. Really take the time to discern at a deep level whether or not it serves you. And as soon as you know it doesn't serve you, then be willing to walk away and be very mindful of safe business practices, that you don't tie into something that doesn't serve you. Does that make sense? Because this is all going to be about building your business community this year. You're going to be much more focused on your career than you are on any other aspect of your life. And your career very much is your spiritual journey, so it's not a bad thing. But when we look at work-life balance, it doesn't necessarily happen in the same week or the same day or the same year. And so this year, your work-life balance is going to be much more tilted toward work, whereas down the road, it will be in another balance. Overall, you're going to be in balance, but this year won't feel like balance.
Does anything come up for you about India?
Well, that's an open-ended question.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's you in India.
Yeah, that keeps showing up. I'm interested to why.
I'm not getting anything right now.
Okay, but thank you.
But I would say if India is on your radar and you go to India, make sure you go with a group that you would not, I don't feel that it would be a safe place for you to go right now because of the attitude that many Indians have about women travelers. I mean, it's a mindset that's very hard for us to relate to. And so just if you go with a enough enforcements that you will be safe. Do not travel there alone.
Okay.
And my old roommate is from India, and she would say the same thing. She
Well, you know, again, it's a mindset that we're not used to, that we would not consider it. And you tend to carry yourself in a provocative way, not in a bad way, but a provocative way. It's just the way you present yourself. And there they would see it as an open invitation of something that you don't want to get involved with. So do not go to India by yourself if that's what you're thinking, unless you choose to wear a burqa.
What do you mean by provocative? I don't
Well,
think
just no. I know you don't think so, but you are a very exotic woman. Go look at your Instagram, for God's sakes. And all of your, and I traveled with you in the desert in Egypt, and you just carry yourself in a very provocative way. It's not a bad thing. It's just a statement of fact. There's some people that are much more tomboyish, and there's some people who are much more feminine. There's people that are much more this or more for that. You just tend to carry yourself in a much more exotic, provocative way, which would not be compatible with a safe journey in India, in my opinion. And you asked me my opinion, so I am sharing it.
well, and beautiful one piece leopard. You know, like it's who you are. It's an essence. It's beautiful. It's not good. It's not bad.
But you don't
So
need to
that's-
explain me.
I'm explaining it for her because she doesn't see that in her. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's an example. Like, you own your feminine, which is beautiful.
Go look at your pictures from Egypt and just get outside your own head and outside your own eyes and look at it from another perspective.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, from, you know, you asked me my opinion about India. I gave it to you.
Okay.
Do with it what you want. It's that kind of opinion. Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to share or ask?
Mafioso had a question, but I said
Okay.
you only do.
Where'd you go?
No, he's not on.
Oh,
But
okay.
He was.
What's his question?
If you had a general direction of my life, especially in terms of my physical residence, like
First of all, unfortunately, the energy is too far distant when we're doing things online. So it's very hard for me to accurately connect. It takes way too much effort. And so when you're on the ethers, it's very hard for me to, I shouldn't say it's hard. I don't feel as accurate from a distance. So if you like, maybe tomorrow, get online with a Zoom call, and it's still a free call, then I will be happy to answer the question. But I can't answer personal questions like that from a distance and feel good about it.
I honor you. Thanks for honoring.
Okay. All right. So if there's no questions from our peanut gallery, and Jennifer has a question. Woo! Pom-poms.
Ask one more thing.
Okay.
What do you sense in for, or what do you feel for January 6th in DC? Can you feel that?
And yes, we'll talk about that tomorrow. See, tomorrow is looking ahead. This was closing out 2020. And so tomorrow we will discuss those things. And so I'll be happy to share that tomorrow. For tonight, for all of you, I would just like you to imagine walking through this long tunnel, and that tunnel was 2020. And as you walk through each little arch, that the door closes behind you. So all the 2020 is closed and left behind. The coronavirus, the challenges, the isolation, the mask, all those things are in your past. And as you leave them behind, you walk into pure light, pure joy, pure happiness. And then tomorrow, same number, 1:00 Central Time, we'll talk about what we can do to make 2021 the best year of our lives, and then what I'm experiencing of what's to come. So, and knowing that everything is mutable, we have the power to change. In fact, it's why we're on this planet. We're here to change the reality. So I will share with you what the energy is indicating now, but what can easily be altered. So with that, Stacy, anything else you want to say?
Real quick. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for all of you that are here and with us, because I enjoy sharing this energy together, and I find it always, actually, especially the love meditation, doing that together, it just feels so much more impactful. So I just want to say thank you for all that you are here. Again, that asked what time tomorrow. So if you're on my Instagram, Stacy Harder, it has a flyer for tomorrow, but it's 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central. So it's 2:00 Eastern. I know a lot of you are all around the world, so I'm not sure all the other times. And then some questions possibly about tomorrow. We have what about earth chakras and energy of the planet? How does it interlink with the human?
Tell me what those are tonight when we get off the call. And I don't want to muck it up the energy tonight.
Okay, the questions won't show tomorrow, but I just screenshotted it.
Okay, good idea. And then we'll play with those tomorrow. And if you have questions, again, bring them and I'll do my best to answer them both collectively and individually.
Exactly. And if you ever want to rewatch it, you can, YouTube is stacyharder.com. I have 24 subscribers, so feel free to subscribe. It's kind of fun. It's newer. Also, if you're new, Heather, her first book is Many Were Called, Few Were Chosen. It's the story of Mother Earth and Earth-based volunteers. If you're curious on why we're here on this planet, how you got here, you're something bigger than inside, I do recommend. That's her very first book, over 30 years ago. And I do read chapter by chapter on YouTube. It took me over 30 years to read it, and I've read it a few times this year. It's very powerful. And thank you for the questions. If you want to reach out to Heather at heatherharder.com. Again, that's Heather at heatherharder.com. And the website's heatherharder.com, and I'm stacyharder.com. And again, thank you. It's a pleasure to be able to serve this planet together. May we bring a closure to 2020 with love and appreciation, because I don't know about you, but this year has allowed me to find a piece of myself deeper and more in touch with who I am, what I want, what I desire, and what I deserve. And so it is a beautiful opportunity of moving into trust and moving in what can you do to serve the planet and serve the people. And so I'm actually very much looking forward to 2021. It is number 5, I bet, in numerology, which I think is a lot of new beginnings, and it's a lot of completion. And I love you all. So thank you.
When I share this closure, we're just going to end, Stacy. No talking after I do the closure. Okay, it's just a closure. So it's our closing affirmation. Do what you want. Before we do the closure, if you have questions or comments, feel free afterwards. We're just disconnecting, right, Stacy?
I will disconnect on my ends.
Okay. So let us close in the beauty of peace and understanding. Let us stay open to the gentle whispers of the universe and her teachings. Let love keep us warm, safe, and confident. Assist us to remember the gentle way, the compassionate path, the empowered highway of courage, and our commitment to our road of service Remind us to stay open to the blessing and the joy of our sacred journey and all those in the non-physical who assist us in every way. Until next time, which is tomorrow at 1 Central, I remain your committed friend and send you loads of love, light, and laughter until we meet again.
Love, love, love.